Have you grown sick of your commute? Are you fed up of the many wasted hours that you've lost through going to and from work? I've been driving to and from work for about 2 hours every day for the past couple of months. Now that's not a very long time, but I have grown to sort of really love and enjoy my commute, and I feel like I've found some really awesome sort of tips that probably most people know of, but maybe there'll be a few that you've not heard of before that will be little gems that can make your commute more bearable. So stick around if you want to find out more about that. Before we get started, a couple of very essential kit recommendations. So if you're a poor student like me and your car is in the double digits of age, then it probably doesn't have any kind of Bluetooth capabilities or screens or anything. So there's some kit recommendations that are pretty much essential to any of the tips I'm recommending. One of which is a phone sort of mount. I particularly like ones that go in the air vents. And the other one, which I thought every person in the world probably owned one, but my sister doesn't own one still, so clearly there are some people that need to know about them. These little Bluetooth receivers, they go into your cigarette slots or allow your phone to connect to them through Bluetooth, and then it boosts your sort of music playing through onto the radio, so you can play it through your car. Very useful. So any of these tips I give you now kind of rely on those two things.
One of the best ways you can utilise your commute is education of some kind. It really doesn't matter what it is, but educating yourself on your commute is actually such a good way of utilising that time, because when else do you just have an hour or however long it is to just sit and listen to something? We're not very good at just sitting and listening to things. And a commute is obviously a way of forcing yourself to do that. And actually you can learn some really interesting things. I know some people who try to learn languages by listening to certain things and that help them with that. I personally like to learn about sort of productivity and efficiency. How can I be more productive and efficient at work? One of my favourite podcasts is the Ground Up Show, although it has kind of stopped now, but it's got a load of really helpful stuff about sort of starting a business and productivity and minimalism and things like that. So educating yourself can be a really, really great way of using your commute. I know a lot of my friends love to listen to history podcasts, like the British History podcast. My dad loves to listen to a show called More or Less, which is about statistics. Sounds boring, but apparently it's very interesting. So yeah, that's the first sort of tip, is using it to educate yourself. Now the second tip is completely kind of opposite to the one before, and it's silence. Now silence kind of feels a bit uncomfortable to us these days, particularly in a culture now where we're just so busy and so hurried. We never really allow ourselves to just sit still. Particularly not in the car, I find. We can always have the radio or a podcast, but actually I think there's something really powerful in having a bit of silence in your commute. And actually I was reading an article on Healthline talking about how many different health benefits having some silence can give you. It can lower your cortisol levels, it can give you increased levels of creativity, reduces your chance of having a high blood pressure, and various other things that I'll put on the screen somewhere. So actually having silence can be really good for you, and even if it's just for a short while. I like to do a bit of longer period of time of silence in the morning. I normally do a bit of praying as well. Whatever it is for you, you can maybe try a bit of mindfulness, meditation. Don't close your eyes though whilst you're driving. So whatever it is for you, you can give that a go, and you'll actually see that it really helps to calm you down, particularly if you've got a more stressful job. So I'm gonna drive to work now, and then when I get there, I'll give you the final tip that I have. So it's an hour later and I've just arrived at work. This is a good point to tell you the third sort of tip, which is talk to family and friends. It does depend on your personality type. You might be completely fed up of talking to people at work and you just want to be by yourself. But if you're like me and you actually really enjoy and get a lot of energy out of talking to people, one thing I think you can utilise on your drive is actually calling loved ones. One thing I like to do is I put just a message out when I'm leaving work. I just say to my girlfriend and my sort of close family, I just say I'm leaving work now, and they know that means that I'm free for the next hour or so. They can just call me if they find the time. If they don't, then that's fine. Normally I'm listening to a podcast as well. I just find that that's a really nice way of utilising that time to spend time in a way with your loved ones. So utilise that modern technology that you have and speak to your friends and family. So hopefully you learned something new. I'm sure a lot of those were familiar, but maybe the one about silence was a bit new for you. I hope you found it useful. If you did find it helpful, you might enjoy some of my other videos. I've got one recently that I put up about dealing with stress at work. I would love to hear a bit more about maybe what you would find useful, just so I can make videos that you will enjoy and find interesting, particularly around things like work and food manufacturing maybe, and placements obviously. So let me know down in the comments any of your thoughts. So thank you so much for watching, and as always I will see you in the next video.